What's happening, good people? Welcome to Where's There's Watch Room. In this one, I'm going to be reviewing the Pagani Design PD 1651, and you can tell which style this is based upon. So obviously, they offer a few different variants of basically the same watch. So this was sent into the channel by the Pagani Design official store, but you guys know that doesn't change a thing. Link for this watch you can find in the description. So in this one we're going to talk good, bad, well, pros, cons, everything I like, don't like, and everything else you need to know in between. So starting off with the all important sizes, and we have a diameter of 40mm. That does increase a little bit to around 41 and a smidge with the bezel, because it is a little bit wider. 43.5 including the crown. Lug to lug, so point to point, is 47. A bog standard 20mm lug width, and it is around 12.5mm thick. A little bit more if you include that Cyclops. 138 gram sized for me and my 6-inch wrist. We have a flat sapphire crystal, screw down crown, screw down case back, 100 meters of claim water resistance, and of course that 120 click unidirectional bezel. Now the bezel is actually one of my favourite things about this watch. It is listed as having a ceramic insert, but I'm not really 100% sure on that, because all my experience with ceramics so far is it's been very, very smooth, and of course it's very shiny as well. This has got more of a frosted sort of satin finish to it, and it's even subtly textured as well. So I'm not really sure if it is ceramic, or if they've done some sort of treatment to the ceramic to make it different. I don't really know, to be fair. So maybe you guys can, verify that with me. But what I do like is the aesthetic. I love the, the broader markers. Of course, that high polish really does pop off the duller sort of frosted finish of the rest of the insert. Now, usually you guys know I don't like high polish, but in this case, I like it. It's a little bit blingy. It catches the light really nicely, and yeah, I'm a fan. I know, right? Anyway, bezel, we've got a 120 click like we mentioned. The action's one of the better from Pagani I've had. It's very, very light though. I mean, you can, it's really easy. Clicks are decently defined. We do have some back play, of course, though. A little bit of wobble, but it's one of the better ones from Pagani. I've definitely had worse from them. Yeah, the grip's pretty decent as well, but yeah, you can see, we do have, wobble and play. But yeah, it's a nice bezel. I like the aesthetic. The grip's good. Action's all right. Yeah, I've definitely had better, had worse as well. That dial, we've got a very, very nice radial sunburst, which is sort of a silvery grey, which is very, very nice. We've got like a sort of you can see the theme of the watch. It's like a frosty snow theme. They do other colours as well. There's a blue dial and a few others as well, and of course different bezels. I think there's one with a black, sort of a really deep matte black one, which looks kind of cool. And then we've got a little bit of a shimmer from like a more satinized markers, and that looks awesome as well. So it may be worth checking out if you're not a fan of this one, but this is my favourite. Got all applied indices, so we've got the triangle and then circles, and of course the baton at the 6 and 9, and then we've got that day window there, magnified by Cyclops, and you can see, do you know what, that Cyclops ain't doing a half bad job. So quite impressive, and the alignment though, it's a little bit off. The Cyclops is a little bit skew-iff, but can't have it all, guys. Branding, you can see this is actually a Pagani, because obviously they do offer Pagani and this one as well. It's still pronounced Pagani, but yeah, it's just spelt different. So we've got a different logo and their branding. Again, I wish, like they're doing what they're doing with their main brand and just have the logo instead of the text. I just think it would look a lot better, but just my opinion. Then of course we've got automatic and the water resistance printed above the 6 o'clock. Printing's pretty good quality, can't really complain. Dial's nice and clean as well. Handset, we've just got that classic Merc style, high polished. Yeah, the finishing is not bad. We've got high polish, which matches the border on the indices. So yeah, it's not the best executed. There is a little bit of dust and debris on them, but you know, for the price point of the watch, again, you know, we can't expect like Swiss level finishing or even Japanese level finishing on a watch, you know, costing like what this does. Sides are a bit mucky, so I'll just give that a bit of a clean. They are high polished though, which is you know, pretty common for this style of case. But yeah, you know, the polishing, you know, it's not the best I've ever seen. You can see, you know, the effect when it goes in the light. You can see a little bit of streak, so it's definitely not the best polishing out there. We've got crown guards, side crown, screw down. Yeah, pretty much what you'd expect. Case back, you know, exhibition style, so you can see the NH35. Mixed finishing, so we've got polishing, a bit of brushing, and the branding, and of course the mineral crystal, so you can see that NH35 in the back. Of course, I'd wish you'd have stopped doing that, because NH35s aren't exactly the nicest looking of movements. Bracelet wise, you know, we're looking at a style. Obviously, I'm not really going to say, because you guys know already. But yeah, so we've got a male end link, solid links though, solid end link. So yeah, the quality is mixed. That polishing, again, you can see, you know, it is a little bit streaky. So it's not a proper mirror polish. So yeah, you can just see that there. Brushing it's not bad. I've definitely seen better. We've actually got brush top of the lugs though, because usually sometimes from them you actually see polishing and then brushing, and it don't look great. But I'm glad that they're finally, you know, brushing all these now. But yeah, the polishing I don't usually like, but I think it works quite well with the rest of the polishing on the bezel insert. So yeah, it's not the best polishing, but you know, it matches and fits the aesthetic quite well. Clasp, again, you know, got that same finish. Again, you know, not the best quality. I wish they'd have just engraved the logo though, instead of putting the text on it, because the text a little bit basic, a little bit boring. And yeah, it doesn't really do it any favours in terms of making it look like a premium product. The main part of the clasp though, decent quality. This part, you know, it feels pretty nice and solid. Of course, you know, you've got that pin to get it adjusted, so I've just left mine. Been saying it for ages, they really need to put more accessible micro adjusts, or do a sort of sliding mechanism. That's not going to happen, so we're just going to have to keep moaning until they change it. But yeah, the quality, yes, it's not bad. Bracelet, you know, good articulation, solid end link, solid link, screw link as well. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. So anyway, let's pop this on wrist. Just get the watch the right way around for a start. And yeah, you can see obviously, because I can't get to the micro just that easy, and I'm a little bit lazy and I don't really want to, you know, do that. It is a little bit big. You can see, you know, I can fit a finger in the gap. But yeah, it wears really nice. You know, it's just a classic this style, you know, the maxi style, and it wears all right. You know, it's not the most comfortable, or it's not my favourite profile of case and for wearability, but yeah, it's nice. Just wish, you know, they'd change this clasp. I mean, I wouldn't even mind, you know, just ditching this style altogether and just putting a milled one on instead, because at least then you've got micro adjust to make it a little bit more comfortable, because, you know, it does slide round. Of course, you guys might get a bit more lucky and it might fit you a lot better, but for me, yeah, it just doesn't. No overhang though, because we've only got that 47 lug to lug. Those male end links are nice and curved though, so they don't really sort of jut out too far from my wrist. So yeah, it's a nice looking watch, and I think, you know, in the light as well, I love how all the polish elements really pop. But yeah, it's a comfortable watch. I mean, I just wish, you know, it fit a little bit better. So I would say, you know, this one is going to be for you guys with thicker wrist than myself, unless you really want to spend, you know, a bit of time messing around with the internal adjustments on there, which I just could not be bothered to do. I'm going to be brutally honest there. But yeah, it's just too much of a hassle in my opinion. But yeah, comfortable watch. I think I'm probably, if I were going to use this as a daily wear, I'd probably swap out the bracelet for an aftermarket one, and one that you can actually adjust a little bit easier, because they are available and you can get them with the glide lock style sliding mechanism as well. So it just makes that adjustment a lot easier. So yeah, let's get this off wrist, talk movement. So as we all know, this is using an NH35 specs, are on screen now. I'm not really going to, you know, go into detail about the specs because we've all seen them a million times or more. But yeah, the watch itself is all right to use. You know, we've got those big crown guards, but actually the crown is, you know, is wide and broad enough that you can actually get a good purchase on it, even with the crown guards in place. Pull it out a couple of times, we've got that hacking. And you know what? This is quite surprising. Oh, sorry, I've just knocked the camera. But this is the nicest winding Pagani I've ever had. Now, usually Paganis have got little issues. You know, the crown and stem might feel a little bit loose and a little bit wobbly. It might have got a little bit of gritty feedback in the crown. Sometimes, you know, there's a little bit of debris gets stuck and it feels, you know, a bit ugh. But this is very, very impressive. There's no issues whatsoever. It's really smooth. The crown feels good. Good amount of grip. It's a decent size as well, so you can get a good purchase on it. But yeah, I am very impressed. It's actually one of the nicer using Paganis I've ever had. You can also see we've got a little gasket as well, you know, to help with water ingress. But yeah, oh, hang on, there we go, there we go. I just didn't quite get the crown. But yeah, re-engagement, as you've seen, is not the strongest suit. But yeah, that's probably just me being me, and you guys know what that's like. So yeah, it's really nice to use. Of course, that NH35 is just, you know, the NH35. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and it is reliable as always. Now I'm going to get on to the loom, and you know what, guys? It's actually better than what I thought it were going to be. Of course, it's nowhere on the same level as like Steel Dive, etc. But it's better than previous ones I've seen of this. It lasts a little bit longer. It's a little bit stronger, and it's better quality than from Paganis I've seen in the past. Of course, yeah, like I said, it's nowhere near on par with other rivals at the same price point, but it is a big improvement and they are getting better. Of course, even more improvements could be made, but it's nice to see they're slowly heading in the right direction. And yeah, would be awesome to see better loom, definitely. But yeah, I think it's acceptable, if not amazing. Price point of this one currently, as of filming, which is the 12th of November. Pricing is, I think it's 87 quid the last time I checked, and that is including taxes, but we are in a sale as well, so that'll obviously change once the sale is over. But yeah, what do we think of this one? Well, in terms of this style of watch from Pagani, I think this is one of their better ones. Their cheaper one is actually really good as well, but I just like some more of the elements on this one, especially the bezel. I think that's a highlight for me. Even though, of course, it's not the best bezel out there, I just like the aesthetic. And I'm even starting to like it with the high polishing, because obviously there's a lot more polishing for it to bounce off of, and, you know, it just creates a really cool, really blingy look on wrist. And I don't usually like that, but do you know what? It just kind of works. But yeah, as for the quality, it's more of the same. You know, it's got its good points, it's got its bad points. It's Pagani. I mean, we should know by now what to expect. You know, the watches, they're decent. They're not going to knock your socks off for the price point. If you want really impressing with a watch from AliExpress, then, you know, there's only very few Pagani that actually do that. This one is bordering on just doing that. I think if, you know, they manage to bolster the bezel a little bit, make the action a little bit better, of course give us better loom and a better clasp as well, I think it'd definitely be up there. As for now though, I think it's a solid buy, but not amazing. If you want to see more content on the channel, click the links you can see right now. Like the video if you enjoyed it, hit that bell so you don't miss any future content, and of course, feel free to subscribe if you want to stay in touch with the channel. Thanks very much. Have a good one.